Fuquay-Varina and Holly Springs are about 15 minutes apart, but one of them will cost you noticeably more than the other one. I'm going to break down the actual numbers: home prices, property taxes, and what you're really paid for. Stick around because the answer even surprised me. I'm Gabe Button. I've been living in the Southwest Wake County area for about 20 years now, and I get this exact question from relocation buyers every single week: Fuquay-Varina or Holly Springs? So let's go look at the numbers. All right, so let's start with home prices because that's the biggest gap between the two towns. As of mid-2026, the median home price in Fuquay-Varina is around $435,000. And that's actually down from last year. Fuquay's had some cooling. Holly Springs sits meaningfully higher. Multiple market sources put Holly Springs median home prices noticeably above Fuquay-Varina at comparable commute distances to Raleigh. Depending on the exact data source that you're looking at, the gap runs anywhere from about 50,000 to 150,000. So it's a big range, but the direction is consistent. Fuquay is the value play. All right, so property taxes. Okay, so here's where it gets interesting. Property taxes actually favor Holly Springs slightly, which surprises people. Holly Springs municipal tax rate is 34.35 cents per $100 of value. And town leaders point out the lowest municipal rate of any town in Wake County. Fuquay-Varina's municipal rate sits a little bit higher at 35.8 cents per $100. Both of those get added to the Wake County rate, which sits at 53.71 cents per $100. So combined, you're looking at roughly 89 cents per $100 in Fuquay and about 88 cents per $100 in Holly Springs. So basically, it's a wash, on the rate itself. But because Holly Springs homes are worth more on average, your actual tax bill in dollars tends to run higher. All right, so let's talk drive time because that's actually factors into people's decisions as much as price. Apex sits the closest to Raleigh. Holly Springs is a little bit further out, and Fuquay-Varina is the furthest out of the three. But even Fuquay is still practical. It's about 30 to 40 minute commute to downtown Raleigh or the RTP. So if you're not sacrificing a ton of commute time for that lower price point in Fuquay, it's more like 10 to 15 extra minutes each way compared to Holly Springs, depending on exactly where you land in each town. One thing that does not change between the two is the schools. Both towns fall inside Wake County Public Schools, so the district quality is identical. It comes down to your specific school assignment, not which town you pick. I'll drop a link to Wake County Public Schools assignment lookup in the description so you can check that out for an exact address that you might be targeting. Okay, so here's how we sum it up for someone that's relocating. If you want the lower price point and you're comfortable with being a little bit further out, Fuquay-Varina is going to stretch your budget further, lower home prices, comparable tax rate. If you want to be a little bit closer in and don't mind paying a little bit more and want more, that master plan, heavily amenitized feel, Holly Springs is worth the premium for a lot of buyers. All right, let's make this a little bit more concrete instead of just talking rates. So let's say you've got $750,000 to spend. In Holly Springs, that budget tends to get you more square footage and a bigger lot. You're looking at some of the strongest space $4 in the triangle at that price point. In Fuquay, that same $750,000 puts you in the upper tier of the market. Think newer construction, more finishes, more premium neighborhoods, because the overall price ceiling here is lower. So it's not just which town is cheaper, it's what does cheaper actually buy you. I just had a family that moved here from Iowa, and they were looking at Cary and Holly Springs and Apex because it just felt more established. But once we ran some of the numbers and what they could actually get for their budget in Fuquay, they ended up coming to Fuquay. And that's exactly the kind of comparison that I want to help you make. If you're relocating to the Triangle and trying to figure out which of these towns actually fits your life and your budget, that's exactly the kind of thing that I help people work through every single week. Drop your questions in the comments or grab some time with me directly. There's a link in the description. Again, I'm Gabe Button. I'll see you guys on the next one.